we go.
There we go. All right.
I recognize that voice.
So, right, right. So, chapter 8 of the Ninja Selling is all about the results formula. And I think if there's one takeaway from this chapter, it's simply that your results aren't random, that they are based clearly on how intentional or unintentional, maybe, you're being with your thoughts and your beliefs. And he breaks down this results formula, and it starts with our thoughts. Hold on, I've got the text up on this other monitor here. Uh, our thoughts come from this non-conscious part of our brain, that program that we're running, which then in turn form our beliefs. Our beliefs create actions, which then determine our results. And it's this positive feedback loop because your results are going to, reinforce whatever your thoughts are, be it positive or negative. And that's it. It's as simple as that. For real estate professionals, it's not the idea that the market determines your results or that your leads determine your results or that your luck determines your results. It's about this internal programming, your thoughts, which alter your beliefs, your actions, and then create the results that are based off of those beliefs, thoughts, and actions. Something that I thought was really interesting that Kendall said, he mentioned that, we have about 50,000 thoughts a day in a 24-hour period that and most of this is just simple processing, right? It's repetitive, it's automatic, it's programming. But whenever you think about it long enough, that thought, it becomes and kind of ingrained into your belief system. It's baked into your worldview, and then it becomes a part of your identity itself. So if you have this idea and if you entertain this thought that, oh, I'm not good at sales, or I'm not good with people, or I struggle with the contracts, or whatever it may be.
Reinforce yourself.
But yeah, right. It's reinforcement. If you repeat it enough, it's going to become a belief. That belief will then shape your behavior, which will create the results that reinforce it. Again, we go back to this idea that it is a positive feedback loop.
Yep.
This is why you can have two people going through the exact same training, going through the exact same program, learning the exact same thing, and have wildly different results. People are the beliefs are going to drive those actions and those results. They can be working with the same scripts, have the exact same market, and have entirely different results.
You're running it on different hardware. You wire your brain in a certain way, and it doesn't necessarily take the program that you're being given in the same way.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can't try.
Yeah, because you've already pre-programmed essentially. And previous chapters that we've gone through, Kendall talks about basically how to reprogram your brain so that you are able to follow this pattern, this thoughts, beliefs, actions, results, and then achieve the type of results that we're looking for in life, whatever it may be. And you could take this outside of sales. I mean, I know we're framing all this within the context of being a real estate professional and selling, but this is this is a formula for life, if we're
No,
honest.
I did have a bit of trouble engaging. I bounced off him a little at first because a lot of the way he words things is similar to the rhetoric that you'll see if you're disabled, where they're like, well, just think more positively and you'll be able to do this.
Yeah.
But that's not what he's saying. He's using that verbiage, but his message is ultimately based in neuroscience. Yeah, if you rewire yourself, if you think every day, oh, for instance, people who are depressed think, oh, I should kill myself. They say it as a joke. It stops being a joke. But if you say, oh, I'm the best to ever do it, eventually you can rewrite yourself and not get stuck in this negative feedback loop of your depression. And it's slow and it does work. And it's one of life's little pains that you do actually have to change the way you think.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love that for him the thoughts lead to beliefs, leads to actions. There's a there's an execution phase of this. And years ago, there was, and hopefully I don't ruffle too many feathers with this, but there was like this self-help concept or book, and I think they even made a documentary out of it. I think it was called The Gift or something like that. And it was all about just positive thinking, which is great, but it didn't seem to coalesce in any kind of execution or
Yeah,
function or action or movement or verb. There was never a verb attached
yeah,
to it that you
no,
were
the
supposed to
verb
do.
structure, yeah. Where it's well and good to say, dude, just think positively.
Hmm.
How do you do that?
Right. Well, and then also, what do you do with that?
Yeah, that's great advice, but what if it doesn't come naturally? You have to give people a process by which they can teach themselves to do this.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, and that's another thing that Kendall did great with the morning routine. And it
yeah,
starts with gratitude and it will be part of that reprogramming. So, uh, Lisa, I've seen you light up a couple times. If you're trying to chime in here, I'm sorry.
No, I was listening. And Ashley, like we deal with a lot of people, especially the veterans that we deal with. They have the depression, the
Mhm.
PTSD, the
Mhm.
anxiety.
Yeah.
And that is actually something that when I go and I do like home visits, I counsel them on that. I'm like, hey, we wake up every morning. What are we grateful for today? you
Yeah.
know and it's a lot of the things. And so because Ash has been working with me, she's picking up on a lot of things. And I struggle with depression, she struggles with depression.
yeah,
So we're like vibing with what he's saying.
yeah.
But
Mhm.
again, there's that block that they people go, hey, just be happy. Well, how the hell do you do that?
Right. Right.
I,
Plain and
I, I was
simple.
glad that I was like, no, I bounced off it at first and I was like, no, I said I'm gonna deep read this. I said I'm gonna be in the group chat and talk about this book. Let me deep read it. And I was like, no, that's not what he's saying. And then I got to the chapter where he suffered from encephalitis as a kid. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, me and him have a lot of the same thought processes, but we word them profoundly differently to
Hmm.
the point that there was our initial point of contact was adversarial when we believe the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That
kind
was
of going
something
back, what we're, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that was something that I wanted to bring up as interesting from a sales professional perspective is
Mm,
at what point, like, is somebody not agreeing with you, or is somebody getting stuck on your message delivery
that,
and how
yeah,
you thread
that's
that
a
needle? At what point in time is it too much effort? Because it does have to be two-way. I did have to sit there and say, all right, shut up. What is he actually saying? So,
a lot of that, yeah, a lot of that goes into just understanding somebody, and I don't want to dive too deep into it now, but this is why I have, been trained in I don't know if you're familiar with DISC personality types or
I took
profiling.
the thing.
What's that?
I took a free version of it.
Okay, got you. It's not that everybody you can put into a box, but a lot of people tend to uh, display, one or two of those in a pretty large manner. And if you can understand, maybe those mannerisms or those character traits or whatever, you can then tailor your message based off of how you know that they're going to receive them. Uh, it sounds like Lisa is kind of like me. She's a really high D type. So if you're delivering information to Lisa, you need to put it on a one pager rather than delivering, the
I needed
spreadsheet
it.
to her. Like you're gonna lose her. And so, but
It needs to be practical, actionable,
mhm,
and it needs to be
Yeah.
relevant to what she has brought to your attention is her concerns. Because
yeah,
she will bring it
Yeah,
through.
it'll come the information because to me, she's research. She is writing. She's things like that. To me, I come and I go. She'll give me all this information. I'll dissect the information, and then I go, okay, so what are we doing? What are,
right, yeah.
where are we going from
Where's the
here?
action item? Right. What is this? What does this all
And
this
she's
cute
like,
stuff on
okay,
the
well,
spreadsheet tell us? Yeah.
yeah. So okay, so then what we need to do is this, and this. and she'll be like, okay, got it.
Yeah. But that's a
Yeah.
good point, though, actually, is that it does come down to, being able to understand or speak that same language. Otherwise,
Being
you're
able to detect when it is oh, this is a language thing, not a message thing.
right. Yeah, no, exactly. It's just how you get it through. So
Listen, I fired somebody over a language thing yesterday. So,
be nice, Lisa.
well, Ashley was the one that told, and she was listening, she was with me, and she's like, hey, I think he just didn't know how to explain to you what he was doing. And I said, well,
Mm,
if you have to ask me 3 times about your job, I don't need you.
yeah,
And
fair enough.
Ashley was like, be nice, Lisa.
Hey, I just said that.
It's a refrain.
Right. Okay, well, returning back to our text here, and if you haven't
Right.
figured out kind of what I'm working to do, I'm breaking these all down step by step. So we have that formula: thoughts, beliefs, actions, and results. We've talked about how our thoughts become our beliefs, how our beliefs drive our actions, and about how we can be working with the same script but get entirely different results. And then our actions then produce our results. This is simple, but it's really important. And it's the idea that your results don't come from goals, your intent. Oh, I meant to do that. Any kind of motivation. I hate the word motivation. It will be gone before you get to your car. It lasts like 5 minutes,
Motivation is
you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Discipline is going to trump motivation every single time. And so our actions
Yeah.
produce our results, and they come from what you actually are able to do. And I would argue another really big important part of this is consistently. Anytime you ever want to build something in your life, it is the small things. I had a really good mentor tell me that he defined excellence as many small things done well, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. It's the tiny little steps that you take. It would be easy if I only had to roll the boulder up the mountain one time and then I was done. It's far more difficult instead moving a pebble up every single day.
Yeah.
But that's the labor that's required. That's the action that is required to build those results, to produce those results. And it has to be done consistently. It has to be done intentionally.
I mean, how many times do you wake up and go, I don't want to wake up, but you force yourself to because it's discipline. You
Right.
wake up, you have the discipline, and you're going to, this is the time I'm going to wake up. Do I want to? No, but I'm going to do it. Because if I don't do it, no one else is going to do it for me. And then things get backed up. So I'm getting up.
Hmm.
about
Yeah,
my mission.
Hmm.
it's a discipline thing. And, I don't have, like, currently, I don't have somebody above me that other than my sensei Jeremy that says, "Hey Lisa, can you yes?" You know,
You be
other
nice.
than you, I don't really have anybody that is like, "Well, you're going to get fired." I work for me,
Hmm. Yeah. And that's what I
you
tell a
know?
lot of real estate professionals that I chat with. I say, look, nobody's going to call up and check on you. You have
Nope.
to want this for yourself. You have to be intrinsically
Yep.
motivated and make a decision every single day to get up and go
Yep.
to work because nobody's going to call and ask you if you've punched the time clock or nobody's going to call and ask you where you are. And it does require a lot of discipline on
It's
yourself.
discipline.
It's a
Yeah.
nice little segue into a really key component of this chapter that Kendall introduces to, and it's cliche-ish and really simple to, we hear it all the time, this idea of just taking responsibility. And but one of the things that I feel like Kendall does well here is he kind of does a little bit of a wordplay with responsibility. And yeah, he calls it the response ability, the ability or lack thereof to control our responses to any given situation. And I've kind of talked a little bit about this before. Those that have or know me well know that I aspire, I'm not going to say I'm a stoic, I aspire to be more stoic. And if you're not familiar with the philosophy of stoicism, this is a big part of it is the response ability. This idea that the whole world could be melting around you, but there are certain controllables that you have, and that's everything inside of you. And you can remain stoic and calm and measured Again, I'm striving for these things.
The concept of responsibility was actually what the clicking point where I was like, we have the exact same philosophy. We're wording it differently. We
Yes.
come from different cultures
Hmm.
because there's, especially among younger people, there's this idea about feelings
Hmm.
valid,
Hmm.
but they always stop there. Your feelings are valid. Your responses to your feelings aren't always valid. You're
Right.
allowed to feel irrational anger. You can't take it out on other people.
Yeah, it's what you do with it though that's the most
Yeah.
important thing. Yeah, and that's exactly what Kindle is saying here, that we can't control everything that happens around us. The market is the market. The quality of the lead that we receive is that. But there are some things that we absolutely control. We can control our response, and your response is going to determine your direction or, how positive or negative you view it that. Now, here we go. Now we're back at the start at the beginning of this where our thoughts form our beliefs, form our actions, which create our results. And so it's again this positive
Well,
feedback loop.
the one thing is and I tell myself this every day. The one thing is you can't control what happens around you, but you
Mhm.
can control yourself, or you can strive to control yourself. I
Mhm.
get lectured by Ashley at least 3 times, probably 10 times a day. And
Sorry.
she's like, was that nice? Did that really need to come out?
That
And
help.
I,
Did
did
that
that
help?
help? Yeah,
Ooh,
there you
that's
go.
a good
There,
word.
that's what
Yeah.
Because that's what
did that.
my,
Wait,
my,
wait,
my philosophy is, okay, is that a productive thing we're doing with this emotion? Did this change the bad stimulus that caused the emotion? Or did it
yeah,
just make
she
it worse?
gets on me, Jeremy.
Honestly, that's a very powerful partner to have. And
That's how I handle myself. Because
yeah,
I
that's
love to go off on irrational tangents and feelings and then say, was that helpful? Is
mhm.
that productive? Or do we need to walk away from this?
Lisa, I think Ashley is the angel you need to keep on your shoulder for a very long time.
Listen, Ashley's my family.
Oh.
She's the angel that I need on my shoulder because you were talking about intrinsic motivation. And
Mhm.
that's something I really, really struggle with, and is the reason I don't think that I would be a good fit as I am now for a sales position. I don't have a lot of intrinsic motivation. My motivation is, oh, I need to get up and help Lisa. I have to get up today. I have to make sure I did everything that I said I was going to do. I
Yeah,
promised I was going to help, so I get up and I help.
yeah.
But I still tell her, Jeremy, she needs a real estate license just to have, if nothing else to have, so that she knows the rules.
So what I'm seeing with you, Ashley, and again, not trying to put you in a box or
Okay.
label you or whatever, but I see you as being an extraordinarily supportive person, and that is a very powerful attribute in a with that a real estate professional would have, because the supporters, again, kind of going back to DISC, it's an S-type personality. The those types of people are so caring and loving that they're looking out for their clients, number one. And most
Oh
of
my
the
God.
S most of the S-type
You
people
got
that I
S.
see, what's that?
She tested S.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I'm sure. I have no doubt. I see her as an SC, is what I'll
Very.
bet. I'll bet is that what you came at with a small C,
Yes.
big S?
Big S, small C. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so I mean, again, so I do a lot of disc and I actually teach a lot of disc, so
Yeah.
I see that. But no, I think that Ashley, probably could be a really solid real estate professional. The S's that I see though, what they don't do, and I don't think Ashley would ever want this. They don't do 10 million, you know,
I
dollars in
know these
sales
high volume.
volume every single year. They might do 1 million in sales volume, but they give so much care and close attention and love that their people become like cult followers, So,
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna sing songs about Ashley.
Because they
Yeah.
think people just want to know that somebody is listening to them.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's a big part right there, and kind of goes back at Lisa. I don't know if you've sat in on one of my buyer consults, right?
Yep.
So speaking of this idea that people want to know that they're being listened to and understood and heard, I will many times. I think Chris Voss refers to it as mirroring, if I'm not mistaken, if that's the right technique or not.
Right.
Chris
match
Voss
somebody's
wrote a great
energy.
book on Never Split the Difference. But the idea here is that whenever somebody's giving me something, I ask them an open-ended question, and I will give it back to them. I'll say, okay, so what I'm hearing is,
Yes, I always do that. Like, hey, clarity.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and then and whenever you give that back to people, they're like, yes,
that is where
finally
I want to
somebody
be.
gets
Yeah,
it.
I
and
still
in
don't
my
like that I have
experience,
to pick three
go
things
ahead.
though.
What's up, Lisa?
I still don't like that I have to only pick three things.
Oh, that's right. I did that with you.
Yeah, in my
She
experience,
heard about that.
even even if you don't understand somebody, the fact that you said, "Hey, wait a second, this is what I'm hearing. Is that true?
Yeah,
Are we on the same page?"
you find that
Helps
common
a lot.
ground.
And I've had to do a lot. I have to do a lot of weird hacks and workarounds to communicate. So a lot of his stuff, I ended up being like, "Oh no, I already do that. Okay, it's
Hmm.
just how he phrases it."
Hmm. Yeah, it's just a language barrier a lot of times, So, man, this is we're diving off into like a sidebar on negotiation and communication, which is great, but it's making me
Not what we
wonder.
were. Trust
Maybe
me.
maybe I need to teach a class on negotiation and just kind of finding that common ground at some point. But uh,
Yeah. My
okay, well,
negotiation is do what I want.
It's her road. We're just
very
driving
high,
on.
right? Very high D type there. How very how very D-like of you. So we have this
Good.
concept of responsibility and how our responsibility is going to absolutely determine our direction. It's going to play into our thoughts, which enforce our beliefs and create those actions, which then create our results. And he gave a really powerful story. I forget the name of the policeman, Joe or
Yeah,
Jack.
Jack Taylor.
Yeah, Jack. You remember his last name too? That could be.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I opened the book.
Oh, you're cheating.
Yeah,
No, that's good.
I was like,
No, that's
where's
what we're
the
supposed to
reading
do
of
is
the
follow along
chapter?
with the text here. So Jack was a hard charger, right? He was this hard charging police. He served on a SWAT team. He was decided he was kind of ready to move out of that space where he's dealing with a lot of the ugly things in life and wanted to move into real estate and start helping people. I think the joke that he made was, now he doesn't have to put anybody in handcuffs when they get into his car.
Yeah,
So Jack sounds like a really positive, funny guy, and then he had an accident, right?
breaks his neck.
Broke his neck. And also there was another part of this. He could not join the office where he lived, so he had to join like the adjacent town. So he's kind of working a little bit
Mid
outside of his area, his geo area, broke his neck, and now Jack has a decision to make, right? What is going to be his response ability? Is he going to act like a victim? Is he going to withdraw? Is he going to use this as an excuse to justify his failure and say, well, the deck was stacked against me from the beginning. I had to work in the next town over. I broke my neck the weekend before I was about to start and play the victim, but he didn't. Instead, he
still
had
make phone
this,
calls.
what's that?
He said, "I can still make phone calls."
Still make phone calls, right? No matter where you are in the world, you can make a phone call. And so he started calling all of his people and letting them know he was a real estate professional now. He said, I can still use the ninja system. I'm gonna take responsibility. I'm gonna own this. Yeah, this sucks, but it is what it is. And I think what they say, I mean, like what, how much it was a stupid number that he
Made
made
like
his
a
first
stupid
year.
amount of money, and I remember he was rookie of the year, 300,000.
300,000. 300,000 in his first year. I haven't made $300,000 in any year that I've been a licensed real estate professional. So, uh, I've been in the twos, but I've never got into that
Did that
number
free.
before. Man, that's a big number for his first year, rookie of the year. Yeah, he was rookie of the year. But the lesson, though, is not that Jack did anything so wonderful or powerful. All he did was make phone calls, at least at first, and talk to people.
Could. He
That,
didn't
yeah.
make do not what he had thought. Oh, I should have done this. I should have been able to do this.
Mm.
Instead, you say, "Well, I can't do that. What can I do?"
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really important thing here to latch on to. So that's the real lesson I think from Jack, and I pulled this, and I almost always pull at least like one like power quote from the text, and this is the one that I pulled out. The quality of my life is not determined by what happens to me as much as it is by how I respond to what happens. This concept of response ability. And we see this message everywhere, but it's hard to latch onto. I talk with my children about this all the time. And if we're honest with each other, and if I'm honest with myself, I still struggle to to master this concept myself, you know? So, and I think that's part of it, just saying, okay, we're all working. We're all still a work in progress. But this is where,
Or,
go ahead, Lisa.
or, or you can just have Ashley in your corner that just makes the excuses for you and says that you have never done anything wrong
I,
in
I,
your
I don't I don't know if that's what Kendall's going towards here. I don't know.
life. Oh, okay.
No, I'm very much that responsibility thing because my father is unkillable, but he is not uninjurable.
Mm,
Every horrible thing you can imagine happening to a human body has happened to him, and he said, "Well, I don't want to die. I don't want to be crippled. I want to be with my horses. I want to be with my daughters."
mm-hmm.
And so he recently had a catastrophic stroke. I don't know how the man's alive. I saw the scans. I have a little bit of medical training. He should be dead. Couldn't talk. He doesn't want to not be able to talk. He wants to be able to yap. Me and him are both yappers. He's talking.
That's cool.
So for me, I'm like, that's that model of responsive. I really like the responsibility pun. He got me with the wordplay.
Yeah,
Where I'm
no,
like, yeah, no,
I'm kind of a sucker for a good pun. I'm like, ooh, I like it.
and my dad and I are both my dad and I are both autistic, pretty badly. And he was very much yeah, but if you can find what you're good at and find your approach, it does not have to stop you.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, no
Like,
matter what. Yeah.
he didn't realize that was a thing that people could be. He was like, yeah, autism is when you are so good at chess and can't talk.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but if you approach, you have to find your approach and then you can make it work for you. And then years later, he was like, that's autism. My God.
Yes.
And so we came to grips on that. Even if you don't know what's going on or have a word for it, if you respond to yourself, you can make even internal circumstances like that.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that exactly. And they can lead to some very powerful and positive outcomes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I think kind of going back to my favorite quote from this chapter, the quality of my life is not determined by what happens to me, uh, as much as it is by how I respond to what happens. This is where everything kind of gets connected. And again, we kind of talked about this idea that Kendall builds and kind of ties everything in. This is where we have chapter one mindset, two energy, emotional control, routine, focus, programming. All of this is about this concept, this idea that your response is trained,
Yeah.
it's programmed, and that it creates your your results, be it positive or negative, based off how you think, believe, and act. So tying this to real estate, whenever you hear agents say or complain about, oh, the market is really slow right now, or it's a bad market, they tend to just have these very broad generalizations. Oh, it's a bad market, it's a slow market, or these leads aren't good, nothing's working. They're pointing to outside factors, outside influences, and what Kendall is trying to do is get us to look inward and ask the question, what beliefs are driving my current actions? Um, and that's what I would probably do the same, is to kind of look inward and ask self, okay, what is there a result in your business right now that you're not fond of, that you're not liking? What's happening in your business that you're like, man, th this just isn't working? And then look inward and say, okay, well, what belief might be creating that? What is it that I'm thinking, feeling, doing every single day that could be creating that result?
Right.
And I'm not, I'm not asking for for you to, come forward and start talking about it, but this is something to maybe chew on.
But
What's that, Ashley?
I say, oh, this isn't group therapy, but
Right.
no, or even just not necessarily the what am I doing that is causing the negative things around me? What am I doing that is making it so that I cannot respond to these flexibly?
Hmm.
Because you can't. If it's a slow market, I guess it's a slow market, but you can still react to that instead of just saying, ah, fuck, well, I guess it's a slow market. I guess I gotta lay down and take that.
Well, but it kind of goes back to this idea and the old book. What was it? What was the name of the book? So, the idea, someone moved my cheese. And, just because it's not in one place in the market, that doesn't mean it's not somewhere else. You just have to go and find it.
Get it?
Do you know what book I'm talking about?
Absolutely not. I can
Oh,
look. I can look up though. I've got my phone.
hold
So
on. I'm
somebody
gonna
moved my cheese was the idea.
Who moved, the name of the book was Who Moved My Cheese. That's what it is. I had to go and look it up real quick. But basically it's this idea that just because you were doing one thing and it stops working, it doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong. It just means that things have shifted and you need to shift with it. But what people do instead is they say, "Oh, the market's slow or the market's bad." No, it's just shifted. It's just moved. It's just changed. And you need to remain positive and recognize that the market isn't bad. Well, you're just going to have to move with it and then stay positive and keep that right belief set. And I think that we could kind of sum all this up if we were to just kind of say, okay, if results come from actions and actions come from beliefs, what belief do you need to change to level up? What belief is keeping you where you are? What actions or what thoughts rather, which then in turn lead all the way to actions. So this idea, if your results are perfectly designed by your current beliefs, what needs to change? And I think that's the message that Kindle is giving us.
Yeah.
Is that this is all about inward. And Kindle is that. He's very much just like everything on the inside, right? He talks a lot about energy and mentality and our emotional control and now we have the response ability, which I think is extremely powerful. And I'm with you, Ashley. He got me on that one.
I mean, the fun. It's extremely. Yeah, you had said earlier he has a very succinct writing style, and the responsibility thing is extremely succinct. It does link everything together.
Hmm.
I think uh, if you're like me and you get caught up on the positive energy and positive thoughts, it would be, and he has the framework in here, it's flexibility, it's fluidity.
Hmm.
What belief is keeping you rigid and from being able to fluidly respond to a fluid environment?
Who moved my cheese, right? The
And
being
that
fluid, yeah. Right.
terrible metaphor also.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think because I do think that there's a possibility that people might bounce off of his verbiage from multiple perspectives. People who are like, oh, he's talking about energy, he's talking about that hippie shit. Or people who are like, this reminds me of when my aunt told me I needed to align my chakras. And that would fix my inability.
Right. Which and I'm being, if I'm completely honest, that is kind of the part where Kindle loses me a little bit because I'm not a real like spiritual energy person. Now I do believe that you give off a vibe and you can
Yeah, no,
receive a vibe. But yeah, the whole idea of that you're aligning your chakra and I'm just like
yeah.
you know?
But backs up his thought processes with actual neuroscience. He's
Right,
using a metaphor about energy and stuff like that to describe processes that have already been described by behavioral science.
right.
It's more accessible because I do believe in a lot of energy and cool stuff like that, but I don't think that if you get it from a self-help book, that's between you and you.
Like the gift.
From a self-help,
Right.
The
No.
second they start talking about energy and crystals, I'm like, oh, so you can blame me if your method doesn't work.
Well, yeah, and that's the cool part about this. And Kendall does a good job of kind of like reaching up and pulling, like you said, something that is more accessible down out of the void, out of the abstract, out of this, weird place, the of energy and
Yeah,
spirituality, and brings it down to it's about, your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions.
yeah.
There's a verb attached to it.
The
Um,
ability to verb your abstract is huge
mhm,
in anything.
mhm. Yeah, I agree. Well, all right, guys. Well, that's all I have for this. Any closing thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
I would like to thank Ashley for being such a good participant and reading.
I was told that this was about a book, and the book is in the office, right there.
It's like it's easy for me to read it. It's right here.
It's right there.
It's right by my computer. It's right there. You told me to.
Yeah, you told me to read it. You told me that was what it's about. You said this is the task. I did the task.
Okay.
Easy enough. See, there you go. All right, so
Oh, I
let's
think
go ahead
office
and end
All right.
this recording here.